This is like the one thing that I look forward to when I get up. Hi everybody, welcome to the show. Today is episode 87 and we're planning August projects today. I also have whips, squishy mail, still no finished objects, and some dog stories if you want to hear them. Okay, see that right there? That is a button made for dogs to talk to, or cats, or I guess any type of animal. So it's recordable, so you record something on the button. That button says outside. And we've been teaching just Ripley, because she's the only smart one who will actually like do what you ask her to do. So first we had to train her to hit the button, and then we had to get her to hit this button's right outside the door so she knows to go outside. There's another one in the bedroom because that's like her safe spot. And so it's right outside the bedroom, which is shut so the cats can't get in. So when she wants in there, she has to go up to the door and hit the button there that says bedroom. So we're trying to ease her into it. So this is the funniest story. I was out walking with Lola. Like I said, we walk down here. So we were walking from here. So they can see me all the way down the road because they were in here. He was in here my husband was in here with the bigs, and I was walking Lola. So we came over here, and when we got to where our property starts, I came over onto this green. And I guess Rippy hit outside to be let outside to come and see us, and that made me feel so good. So I wanted to share that with you. And we got these last Christmas. And we've been trying to, get them because I watch Bunny. What about Bunny and Stella? Hunger for Words. I'm trying to and then just some random that I don't really know, but those are the two big ones. And it just has been taking Rippy so long to get these, so that she saw me, knew it was me, and asked to be let outside. Just made me feel good. I'm like, we're so close to getting her to, asking me why she's a dog. Which won't make any sense unless you follow What About Bunny? Okay, so I also have an update about these guys. What is happening over here? Oh, those are not the same car. I thought those were the same. There's two cars pulling around. So, I'm going to tell you this about my neighbors. Fast forward if you don't want to hear about what happened, if you're tired of hearing about this. So, last week, was it Friday? I don't remember what day it was. It was my brother's birthday. So it was 5 days ago. Yeah, it was Friday. So on Friday, on my walk, I do 2 loops. And on my first loop, Lola and I were coming here. And when we passed here, the 2 girls were getting out of the car. These are teenage girls. The 2 girls were getting out of the car, and they had just gone to get something to eat. And I remember thinking, oh my God, that's so fun. Like, I remember doing stuff like that with my sister when I first got my license, because she just got a car. So I'm like, I remember doing stuff like that with my sister, and like, that's such an exciting time of your life. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. And so they were parked on their side of the street, but on our side of the street, the husband's truck was there. He's not their dad, which I think will make you think later. So I had to go around his truck, and then there was their car on the other side of the street. So it's kind of, it was a little bit, I couldn't see very well because of being blocked by cars that, were parked on the street. I don't know why. So after they had gotten out and had gone into the house before I was up far enough. So, because you can see from there all the way at the end of this road, you can see the whole way. So sometimes I'll wait if I can see the dogs are out. So I came up around his truck. So I went around his truck and then was walking towards the busy street. So I was walking this way, walking up towards the busy part of the street. And I heard barking behind me. And I turned around and the two dogs were running directly at me. And so I was past their house at this point. I was up here, past here. So they must have come to the end of their driveway and then seen me and then gone off their property across the street to get at me. And I had Lola, I hold her in a sling on my chest. And so I immediately, because she will bark, shoved her face down into the thing to cover her. So like if he went for her head or her face, if the big dog had gone for her, it would have got my hand. It was the only thing I could think to do. Because I didn't want to pull her up like this because then he's going to jump. So I was like holding her face down. And then I had her body like with my other arm. So ridiculous. And this dog is snarling at me and barking at me. And I couldn't really, it didn't seem like she was being aggressive, but I could tell she wanted to get at my dog. And I don't know if she was just, what is that? You know, dogs are pretty, curious. And so I think she was just like, hey, dog, and I was keeping the dog from her. So I think she was getting a little irritated at me that I was not letting her see the dog. So at first she was this way. So I was like this. And then I started to walk because we have a gate a little bit up here before the street. So you can come in. So you don't have to go all the way around the property. There's a gate to get in. So my thinking was get to the gate. Just go to the gate, get into, then you have the gate in between you and this dog. She wasn't jumping up on me, but I was afraid she could. And then my big thing was I didn't want Lola to get hurt and I didn't want to get bit. So I turned to go towards that. It's hard for me to say this because I turned this way, but I'm trying to show you where I was turning. And when I turned, she jumped from this side to the other side of me, so she blocked me off. And then, so I couldn't go anywhere because there was a truck behind me. So I'm like pinned in by their dog against my own fence, which is what made my blood boil, was that I was pinned up against my own fence by their dog off their property across the street. I was so angry. And so I started yelling at the dog, get back. Like I tried to get big and like be as deep as I could. Get back. Get away from me. Right. Because one of these people come out and get their dogs. So like, obviously the dogs just barking wasn't enough to get their attention. So the older girl comes back out and the husband comes back out and I hear him say to her, why did you let them out? And she said, I didn't. And so he just calls the dog and she like comes back to him and he doesn't cross the street. He stays on his own property. I don't know why they stay on their own property, but let their dogs go off their property. So he called the dog. And she was like, okay, hi, and I'm trying to think of I don't know where he was during like previous to that, because the only people I saw were the two girls going into the house. So he did not say one word to me. I didn't expect the girl to, because she's a teenager. She doesn't know, what's happening. And I expected him to apologize. I'm so sorry. Something. He didn't even acknowledge that I was there. Like no acknowledgement, no apology, nothing. So I turned to him and I said, I'm going to call the police. And then I walked into my front yard, put my dog inside, and I called the police. And they sent someone over. They sent a single lady cop, which I know in police language is we don't care. We don't care. So the officer is very nice, and said she'd go over and she'd give them a warning for having a dog at large, and explain to them that they have to have their dogs leashed at all times or on their property, and to keep their dogs off of my property. And I said, thank you. That's all I want. I want to be able to just walk down the public street without being chased by their dogs. So she went over. He was mowing the lawn at that point, and it was not a long conversation. So I'm wondering how nice he was to her. If he was like, oh, they just get out. Like, it was a one-time deal, which is never one. And I even told her that. I'm like, I watch this every day. I watch this happen multiple times a day. And people give them a pass like they think it's the only time it happens. And I'm like, it happens every day. Every day. And I'm like, I just want to be able to go on my walks, So anyway, we didn't see them the rest of that night. And then the next day, they were gone until dinner time. We let our dogs out after dinner. And so we let all of our dogs out. And they came home they pulled into their driveway while me and my husband and all three of our dogs were outside. And they pulled in, and I'm thinking, oh, great, because now they're going to want to get their dogs outside to go to the bathroom. And they take their dogs out in the front, which is directly, you can see, there's their front yard, there's my fence, here's our backyard, there's the street. And I was like, okay, they're going to put their dogs on leashes, and they're going to, the police came and talked to them, and this is the first time we're seeing since then. So they have to do something now. They have to be responsible now. They have to do something. And the husband comes out, has the big dog on a leash, and the little dog, barking, makes a beeline right for our fence. And what happens is, because she's barking, coming at our fence, Lola, my little one, charges the fence and barks at her. So Lola's right there. They're like this with the fence in between them. And then both of my dogs, my big dogs, come over to see what all the fuss is about. So Lola's getting trampled underneath them because they're jumping and it's pandemonium and chaos and rah, 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 rah. And then what happens with my two big ones is redirected aggression. If you're familiar with that, there is something that they can't get to. So instead, they're frustrated that they can't get to the thing. So they turn on each other. And not both dogs, there's only one dog, Deckard, has redirected aggression at Rippy. Rippy doesn't really respond, but he'll grab at her and then she'll bark at him and back off, So I was beside myself with just anger still that I can't enjoy my backyard. I can't enjoy my backyard. It's like they're encroaching upon my sanctuary that is my backyard. This room and the backyard is my favorite part of the house, and they are destroying that for me because I cannot enjoy my backyard anymore. I'm so stressed out I can't even tell you. So anyway, that was Saturday night. So we had this big long talk over the weekend about what we were going to do, and here's what we decided. I'm so mad that we have to, because of their irresponsibility and breaking the law, we have to amend our perfectly responsible behavior. So here's what we did. I got Lola a heavy duty harness. She's now on a lead that comes over here. So she can't even get to the fence anymore. She's over on this side of the backyard. So she can't even get towards the fence. I don't know who that is yelling. That's not them. So then we decided for the two dogs with the redirected aggression that we have to work on recalling. I don't care that the dogs run at the fence barking. I don't care, because that's not my problem. That's not my problem. Lola was getting trampled underneath because she doesn't know to not go, and I think her dementia is getting worse. So I wanted to keep her safe. So we keep her over here, and she can't run to the fence. She can't get hurt. So she's now on a line now forever. So we decided to work on recalling the other two. But if you have dogs, there's a point where if you don't get them before something happens, they're kind of lost to you. They're already in that rah, 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 and it's hard to break out of that. But if you can get them before you go, you have an easier time recalling. So he's been working with recalling the two dogs, and I said, well, since Deckard is really bad at recall, Deckard's really dumb. He's a dumb, stupid dog, but he's usually really happy, so it's not a big deal. Like, he's very friendly, but this redirected aggression thing, and I'm like, if we can't recall Deckard, just recall Rippy, because if Rippy's not there, Lola's not there, he has nowhere to redirect his aggression at. Like, there's nobody there. And if he sees Rippy come back, he might come back, because she's, he kind of follows her. So right now that's the plan, and I'm trying to calm down, and we have a plan. We can keep our dog safe, and I have to let go that I can't save every dog, and not everyone is going to be responsible. Not everyone is going to follow the law. And I mean, obviously, if they're not going to listen to the cops, I don't think they're going to listen to anybody. So what's great is every time they're home now, the garage is shut, so I haven't seen them at all, and I love it. But I couldn't believe the next day it's still going on, and I'm like, whatever. Oh, and I decided for my walks, I've been putting treats in my pocket so that if I do run into those dogs, I'm going to try to befriend the dogs and be nice to the dogs, because those poor dogs have terrible owners, and I feel bad about it. And we have another dog. Its name is Salem. I say their name is Salem. You can practice pronouns on anything with a name. So Salem, whose pronouns I don't know. I don't know if it's a boy or girl. I think it's a girl because Salem Witch Trials, and my husband says it's probably a boy from Winston-Salem cigarettes, and these are the type of people that would probably name their dog after cigarettes, if I'm being honest. But Salem, when we go by, they will come up and with their tennis ball and be like, look at my tennis ball. And I'm like, oh, do you want me to throw your tennis ball? And they did not want me to throw the tennis ball. They just wanted to show me their tennis ball. And I'm not bothered by that dog, because that dog stays on the property. It comes running at me. But the first time, this woman was outside and she said, he's friendly. And she ran, was running towards us. Don't worry, he's friendly. And I had Deckard. Deckard's friendly. So they had a little play session, and I was like, oh my God, they like each other. So their dog stays on the property, doesn't cross the street, doesn't, do that. Just, hey, look at my ball. And so I have no problem with that dog. That dog's awesome in my book. I don't mind that type of, you know what I mean? Because if I had a dog reactive dog, I could just cross the street and she wouldn't follow, and the dog wouldn't follow. The dog would stay on the property, which is what's supposed to happen. So that's the difference, is that little being respectful of people and following the law. So anyway, long story short, I'm so mad about it. I'm trying so hard to okay, we have a plan, stick to the plan. It's okay. I was mostly mad that there was no acknowledgement of me whatsoever, or that they had encroached upon me. Even the second time, all the times that their dogs come and jump on our dogs, and then you hear our dogs go nuts to each other, turn on each other. They have never once come over to grab their dogs. They just call for their dogs to cross the street. They don't say sorry. There's no acknowledgement at all of what they're doing or how it's affecting anybody. Even when when their dogs chase people down the street, there's no, yeah, she does that. Maybe you should take steps so she doesn't. Okay, can we get into the show now? So after all this, we're heavily on Zillow looking at places, and I'm hoping to I'm hoping to move next year. In reality, it'll probably be longer because of this housing situation that's happening, but I'm trying my best to not let them bother me. You know what I mean? Like, just, if we have a plan, if we stick to it, it should, you know, fix everything that makes me anxious besides their dogs being in harm's way, which I can't control that. They now perfectly know that they're putting their dogs in danger, so I'm trying to be over it. It doesn't sound like I'm over it, does it? I'm not. Anyway, let's start with whips today. I'm not wearing anything. I was at the dentist and I had to look nice, so I wore a bra to the dentist. It was ridiculous. Summer lace top, and I just started the third. This is never gonna get done. I just started the third. Where is it? Here it is. No. Yes. What? No, that's the. Hold on. I don't know where I am. Where am I? God. Okay, here we go. Where am I? Oh, no. Okay, yeah. No. I've only done like one row. I thought we had the third. I thought we had the third eyelet row. We still only have two. What are you doing? Come here. Hey, pretty girl. Come here. There's Bree. So no, I still only have two eyelet rows, which is awful. This is never getting done. I'm gonna for next week. Next week is July finished objects. I'm gonna have one thing to show you. Okay, other whip. I again frogged for the 6th time and restarted the increases. So we are at row 115. I'm on row 115, which isn't actually the whole row. I start from, this is row 25. This is row 25. So 25, 50, 75, 100. So now I don't know where my waist is, to be honest. But I've decided I'm not going to block and try on any. I'm just doing it. I'm finishing it. I'm planning on, when I had measured the first time, I had planned on 220 rounds would get me 8 inches from my hip, I think. So from the tops I normally make 8 plus inches, 8 inches from there. And then I think it was another 4 inches to do where your hand meets your thigh. Remember when you were in school and you had to show that your shorts or your skirts weren't too short? You had to touch your fingertips had to touch your skirt still. Remember? Am I that old? Did you guys do that too? Like you had to put your arms straight down and your thing had to be, your skirt couldn't be shorter than where your arms, which is completely unfair because some of us have super long arms and fingers. Completely unfair. I mean, unfair to every woman. It was ridiculous. But then you remember that there are actual beach police that went around with rulers, tape measures, measuring women's bathing suits. Remember those? I was not alive for that. But you can see vintage pictures of them. So here's where we are. I'm just going to keep going till I reach where I'm going to keep going till, what did I say? Row 200? Yeah, I think row 200. And then I think 220 was the extra. I don't know. See here, I have it worked out on like 3 different pages of worked out different endings, different stitch counts. So I got to figure out which one I'm planning for this, but I'm probably going to go to 200. Then I will block, try on, see how the length is. Because this is superwash, I do expect it to not shrink, but shorten, because it's going to go wide. That's how superwash is for me. So I want to make sure it's a little bit longer than I want it to be, and then I'm going to, because I'd rather rework it later to shorten it than add onto it. Do you know what I mean? So I might do the longer, because I worked out how many stitches I can do per 100 grams, like how many, and then I worked out how many stitches were in this whole dress. That's how much I love math. I'm just saying. So we're still going on this. I'm on, what did I say, 115, and we're going to at least 200. So yeah. I don't know why I decided to do this now. This is like the worst timing to do this. It's at the end of summer that I'm doing. I should have got this. Why didn't I think of this in springtime? I'm just saying. I don't know. So that also comes into what I got for squishy mail today. I'm hoping to... Okay, let's just go into squishy mail, okay? So I ordered some stuff from Knit Picks. If you remember, I think it was last episode or the episode before, one of them, I said, hey, I should really find some non-superwash wool so I can make my I keep pointing like I'm wearing a top. The one time I'm not wearing a top. So I can make the tops because I make them in worsted weight, I make them in DK weight, and I'm like, I should, this winter work on getting them ready in sport and fingering weight. So I went to Knit Packs, and I got 200 grams of each of these, but I'm only using one to show you. So I got two different colors of wool I don't know why I got two colors. I don't know why. Maybe, who knows? I don't know. So I got 4 of each of these. And this is their sport weight wool of the Andes. And it has, they're 50 gram balls, remember? So this is 137 grams. So it actually works out to 274 grams per 100, or 274 yards per 100 grams. So that's not quite a sport to me. Sport to me is like in the 320s. So it's still going to work and it's still going to be fine. It just means that those sports are, because a lot of my DKs, if they like even my worsteds, if the fabric I get is too open, then I just go down to use the DK. So this is what I would do because this of course is too small for DK. So I would do this at a sport. So I wanted to, it's still going to encompass quite a bit of different things. So anyway, I wanted to show you, I got this color. This is called Blackberry, and it is fantastic. It is a really, really dark purple, kind of, no, not eggplant. I mean, it looks kind of like an actual eggplant color. That it's not, I know it looks red to me, but it's not red. It's very bluey. It's exactly what I wanted a blackberry to be, a bluey purple. And then this one is Claret Heather, which I've gotten before. Now it doesn't come in the colors don't come in every base. I mean, it's the wool of the Andes, but it's in every weight. They don't have all the colors, and Claret Heather is my absolute favorite. And I'm very excited to see how this looks with my other Claret Heather, because this is like, I've shown this to you before. It's like purple and red and black. It's one of my favorite heathered colors. It's just, it wants to focus on my hand there. There we go. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I just love it. It's one of my favorites. It's probably my favorite color. Like, remember I said, if this is probably my favorite colorway of all time. So for sport, we got Wool of the Andes. Now, Wool of the Andes, that's Peruvian Highland. Yeah. 100% Peruvian Highland wool, so non-superwash. Now, they don't have a Wool of the Andes in fingering. What they do have is palette, which is, I think because this is a 2-ply, it looks like a 2-ply. I put moisturizer on my face and it's in my eye. So, like, my eye is starting to water and I can't see very well. Why do they do this? Oh, this is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. Okay, good. But I think it's a 2-ply. Yeah, it's a 2-ply. So that's like a 4-ply, I think. The Wool of the Andes is a 4-ply, so this is a 2-ply, which is why this wouldn't be considered Wool of the Andes. This is 50 grams, again, 50 gram balls, 231 yards. So that's 462 per 100 grams. So that's a thinner, that's a light fingering, because fingering can be 400, it can be 430 something, 37, 38, or this 460. So the other two I consider fingering. This 460 I consider a light fingering. So this is going to be on the thinner side of fingering, which again I think is fine, because if I swatch for a fabric I like, it's right before it gets too holy. So I wanted to show you the colors I got, because I got my two favorite colors in the whole world, and this is called Regal, and it is a burgundy, a wine color. Oh my god, everything's coming out red. This is also less red. It's more of a purpley blue toned. This is a cool color and it looks kind of warm here. So that's Regal. Again, I got 4 of these, but I'm only showing you. This is Aurora Heather, which is a gorgeous deep green. Also cool green. I don't know why it's looking a bit yellow there. Oh, there we go. That doesn't look too yellow. This is my favorite color, green. So I got my two favorite colors, which always reminds me of like Victorian Christmas, but I hate putting them together, so I would not put them in the same project together because I hate Christmas. We know this. Okay, so that's my squishy mail. Squishy mail for Knit Picks. So those, you will see these, I'm hoping, this winter. I would like to have both of those ready to go well before spring, because I'd like to get worsted and DK dresses out, and then I'll probably work on the DK or the sport and fingering dresses for the following. I don't think I can do all 4. Do you think I could do all 4? Maybe. I don't know. I'll think about it. You know me, because I don't consider myself a designer. I don't like to do the designing. Anyway, and I might be taken with something completely different. I thought there was a hair in my face, but it was on my glasses. August projects. Our main project is going to be the lunch at Tiffany's, but we're actually going to do, I know I've showed this to you already, we're doing the sleeveless version of this. We are using cotton. I'm going to do the smallest size. Because I did get gauge. There's my gauge swatch that I did measure. I actually got 24 here, and then I also got 24 here. So I don't know why it had to be in pattern. I got the same thing. Even though I went bigger on the top one, I still got the same gauge. This is Cotton Supreme DK. I got this at one of my LYS's, and I have 3 skeins in 2 different colors, so I would really like to get these into a cute top. That I would like to wear. And this design, I used to have a top like this when I was younger. It was powder blue, and I loved it. It was so comfortable. I wore it all the time. So like to see a design that is something that I actually wore once and had and was my favorite, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have this, to potentially have this again. So this is going to be in gray. And the only change I'm making is on the bottom here, we're going 2x2 because I am not a fan of 1x1 ribbing. I'm just not. There's something about my brain does not like it, but my brain likes 2x2, so we do 2x2. That's why I do 2x2 on the tops, because it likes it. The other project we are going to do is the full version of this, which is in this bag, ready to go. I got the pattern, I got the yarn all caked up, ready to go. I got my stitch markers, everything's ready for this. So then what we have left, so that's just DK knit top, just DK knit top. I was trying to think of what I would want to do when I make this into a dress, and I think I'm gonna go with the Kotlin from Knit Picks, because the Kotlin top I made I really liked, and I think it would make a great dress. So my next, I wish I had thought to throw it in this order, but I did not. Okay, so our next, I struggled with what our next project was going to be, because August starts fall for me. Remember, I start fall early. I start working fall early. Apparently not this month, but I want that top done. That I wanted the lunch at Tiffany's. I want that done so bad that I'm willing to go over my because we were supposed to do that this month, but the dress got in the way and it overtook everything. So I'll probably, if that dress gets done before, it probably won't, but if it does, then I'm going to start that top immediately when I have time. Oh wait, I still have that other summer lace top to finish. Okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So what I decided to do is, you remember the cowls we were making, the Bonjour from Espestrico. We were making the Bonjours, and I modified those a little bit, remember? Okay, so here's what I'm doing. I got this from Knitcrate, and I do not like this color. It's called Sanguine, and it's very orange. It's very red orange. It's almost rust, which is not a color that looks good on me. This is a Vitellana Dusk. It is 60% Hayakaya alpaca, 40% Surrey alpaca. DK, 231 yards, 100 grams. So this is the two different types of alpaca together, which is why I wanted this base. It came in horrible colors. I don't think we could pick the color. Was this one we couldn't pick the color yet? I think that because I really wanted the base and I was hoping for the black one. Slate, I think it was called. And then they had this really bright green called Brains, and because it was for Halloween. I was hoping for the black. Or the charcoal. I did not get it. So here's my thing. I'm just going to overdye this black. But it is the DK weight, and it's got both alpacas in it. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to add some extra Surrey silk with it, which is going to mean we're going to have to mess around with the math a little bit, because our gauge is going to be different, because this is DK and it's on a 5 needle. So we're going to probably have to go up to a 6. I don't know. I'm going to have to I'm going to have to do a little bit of working to see holding these together. Now, I wanted to show you this because I've never seen this before. This is the first skein of Surrey alpaca I've ever seen, and it is like in this sheet that like it's worse than mohair. It's like stickier than mohair. Like it's almost, it doesn't feel like it's felt. It's just grabbing everything, and the whole thing is just in a sheet. It's just in a complete sheet of just stuff. It is so soft. It is so much softer than mohair. It doesn't smell like anything. It does not have a barnyard smell, which was my only drawback, was there was no barnyard smell. Oh, here, you can see it better here it's just like in a sheet. It's so very strange. And it feels like a cloud. Like, oh my gosh. It's so nice. It's so very nice. So, since this is all alpaca, I'm thinking of doing a cold vat. I'm actually thinking of between now and, because, okay, if I do cold vat, that means it's cold. It's done in a cold thing, and then hopefully most of the dye will soak up as it sits. You let it sit for a day or two, and then you can steam it, which that would be easier on the alpaca steaming than, doing a wet dye. I could also bake it. I could also solar dye, which is something else I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of picking which, because it was quite hot. Now we're cooling off a little bit because we're going to have rain. But I'm thinking between now and a dye project, we might have some really warm days. And if I could get these to solar dye, that might be enough, I'm wondering. Because then there's absolutely no, what do you call it? Agitation. I always think aggression. I'm like, totally wrong word. There's no agitation. It would just be heat. I'm thinking of doing how I normally dye, where when I want a full coverage, because I'm worried about getting full coverage on this, I would put the dye in just plain water and let it soak. And then I might do that overnight, because the nights are pretty warm. The nights are like 70 degrees, high 70s. So I'm like, if we do that, then in the morning before the sun is really up, I could come in, put acid in everything, and let it stay outside for a couple days and, see what happens there. I don't know how these are going to take dye at all, so I'm not sure if I should put them in with this or not. I'm not sure. I'm thinking of just doing plain black. I did want to do something else, but I'm worried because I don't want to mess them up, and the only way I can have real control, I wanted to speckle this. I wanted to speckle this so bad, but I don't have any colors in mind. I just wanted to, for no reason, other than I thought it would be cool to have them speckled. So I think I'm just going to do the cold vat, and maybe separate them. Because they'll both be black, at least close enough black. Or I could do this black and I could do this charcoal, which could be fun to see the difference of charcoal and black together. I don't want to do charcoal in this. Because this kind of almost looks heathered. And the charcoal does that too. Okay, I haven't decided what I'm going to do, obviously. I have not decided yet. But I did want a cowl, the Bonjour cowl, out of this. This is what I wanted to do with this, because alpaca, and I wanted to put it with this. And even though this is a DK weight, it's going to be a little bit bulkier, but that's fine because then I can have something really, really warm when I need it. So I'm going to do my modified version with the mock neck because in this it's going to be loose. It'll be loose for sure. So I won't have any problem with it, being with how much drape you get with. In this instance, I'm saying drape as a lack of structure because there is no structure in Hellback. There's no structure. It's not like wool where it bounces back and it's going to hold anything. So if I did the regular neck, I feel like it's going to be even more open, and that's not what I want. So I'm trying to play to its strengths here, so I can do the mock neck and know it's going to loosen up and it won't be very tight. I'm just not sure what needle size I'll have to go to. If I think we were doing the other ones on a 5, I think. So I'm going to have to swatch a little bit to see what we want. And then I'll have to work some math. Figure out our stitch counts, right? So I'm really excited for this. So I hope these don't take me long either, especially, on bigger needles. These won't take me long. And then the top won't take me long. So I'll have all the time to focus on the Lunch at Tiffany's top that I've been wanting so bad. And then after that, I think I know that's only 3 projects for the month, and if I have time, I'll add in something else. I'm sure, I will probably still be working on the summer lace. Anything could happen the next week. I could finish both projects. You don't know. It could happen. Okay, so we have planning August, July. Okay. We're doing planning August, right? So next week is July finished objects. Then we have August dye project. Then the episode after that is planning fall projects. So that is when I will be talking to you about all of my fall projects that I got going. I also wanted to say to my my loyal viewers, I love you guys. I don't know why I keep coming back, but I like it. I wanted to say that I have something in the works that I'm thinking about doing to add to this channel. And I don't want to say anything because I don't want anyone to steal my idea, because it's something no one else is doing that I've found, because I think it would be more well known and I would know about it. So I wanted to know if you have favorite designers that you watch, that you, watch their Instagrams, or that you test knit for, or any of that stuff. I'm trying to get a list of indie designers together to watch for. I'd like to talk more about designs that are kind of leading us, I guess. Like Stephen West, obviously, Andrea Mounry, obviously, and James Watts, I think, are the biggest ones right now that are kind of pushing what we're doing. And I wanted to include crochet designers too, just what some of your favorites are. I mean, even if they're not pushing the boundaries, to keep our art as fast, you know what I mean? To keep us not necessarily with trends, but the ones that are kind of where hand knitwear is going, stuff like that, where it's going. And I know we've had this push lately that I love of size inclusive patterns. Of everyone's offering size inclusive patterns now, which is fantastic. I absolutely love that, because then my size gets put in like as an afterthought. We'll put in the really tiny ladies, like I love it because I'm like, does this go down to an extra small? Yes, thank God. Does this go down to a 2? So I'm just wondering if you would share with me designers that you really like, that you watch, if you watch their Instagrams or whatever. I have a list, but I know my tastes are kind of different on the gothy side, on the romantic Victorian side that I know not everyone's into. I wanted to get a better, like, I want to kind of keep on with what's coming and where hand knits are going and stuff like that. So if you want to, you can DM me, you can email me, go to the website, send me an email if you want to DM me on the gram, on Insta. Everyone's mad at Instagram for trying to be TikTok right now, and I can understand why they're mad. I have taken a step back from social media, if you haven't noticed. I only post on Fridays when my show comes out. I am a little too, what's the word? Not weak. Vulnerable with all that's going on in my country right now, and then my own personal problems with my neighbors causing me a lot of stress. On top of my regular stress. And then I had to go to my mom's house the other day to pick up some furniture, and that was a whole debacle, and she wasn't even there. Which I think says a lot about my family. Number 1, you're not there, and number 2, you still hurt me. Okay, here's what, tell me if okay, like, you guys know, I had a really bad childhood. So I go to get this hope chest that I've been wanting for my whole life, a cedar hope chest, because I want to put all my knits in it. It's the only thing like I want. And then I took she had a gate leg table, she has a marble top table that have been in my family, and nobody wants them, so I'm like, well, I'll keep them. And then I got nieces and nephews, they might want them someday, they might want to have something, My family's not much for like traditions and talking to each other. But so I went to get this chest that I've been just wanting to have forever, and she had it in a shed, and it's not in good shape right now, so I'm going to have to restore it. But I opened it up, and inside, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but inside was a framed picture of my family, like in the worst days, like, and just seeing my dad looking back at me from when he was his most terrifying to me, like, completely triggered my PTSD, like completely triggered it. And I hate when people use trigger as a word of like something you don't like or something, when it's an actual clinical term for a disorder that triggers actually do something to your brain that we cannot control. It triggers your brain to relive moments from your life, and that's not fun. So I hate when people use the word trigger incorrectly and use it as like an insult, when it's an actual clinical thing that happens to people with certain disorders. So you can all go to hell if you do that. It's a serious thing, and I was very upset at finally getting this thing that I've wanted for so long, so badly, to put all of my beloved knits in. It was the only thing that my family was going to leave me, and I open it up, And there's the monster of my childhood staring me in the face. And like, I don't know if she did it intentionally. I don't even know if she did it or if my sister did it, or if they just, you think one of those two would have been like, wow, we should probably not let her see this, right? If you were a caring family, you would have been like, we should probably not have this where she's going to see it for sure, right? Like, I had a breakdown about it later that day. And it's still, it's like the trigger of seeing him, and then the realization that I don't want to say my sister set me up, but my mother probably set me up. Or at the very least, they didn't even think to protect me from it. What a surprise. Don't protect me from the monster, that made my life hell for my first 15 years of my life. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So lots been going on, and that's why I can't relax. I cannot relax. And then I went to the dentist, and I'm like, throw some more on me. Let's have Christmas right now. Let's let it start snowing. Like, come on, let's get everything. Because I had actually been planning on this summer going out to where I was assaulted and not confronting, but taking an objective look at it now, 20 years later. I wanted to confront it. I wanted to confront that part of my life and kind of let it go. You know what I mean? And so it was fun. We did it wasn't fun. It was helpful that you have Google Street View, so I could go to the street, because I didn't remember the actual address, but I remembered the street and I remembered a parking lot. So from there, I was able to surmise what building it was. And I said, I want to drive out there and I want to walk down that street. Like, I want to go there. I want to feel what I'm going to feel. And it's been 25 years. I want to let it go. I want it to not bother me anymore. So, not doing that this weekend. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm like, everything's falling on me. So, all I'm doing is focusing on my knitting. I'm just saying, if you're fragile right now, it's okay. It's okay to be fragile, and it's okay to freak out. And remember, it's okay if you have a designated pillow that you scream into. That's totally normal. It's totally fine, okay? And we're going to get through this, because you know what else I saw? What else I saw this weekend? I saw some doctors, some newly doctors. Was it in Michigan? Somewhere at a medical school. Bunch of new medical students walking out when there was a pro-life speaker, pro-life keynote speaker. I don't think she was speaking pro-life, but she was the one chosen to speak to this class, and most of the class got up and left. I think half of the class got up and left, and then the other people there that I think their families were there got up too and left. So have faith in this generation coming up, and have faith. And I've been seeing, David Hogg got thrown out of the Senate hearing on gun safety, and I have never been more proud of him in my life. I feel like he is my son. So proud of him. And I'm so proud of Greta. Greta's speaking out too about climate change, and we've got those fires happening in the world. I feel like everything's falling apart and no one's doing anything. We're just everyone's acting like the dog in the bar where this is fine, everything's fine, and everything's on fire. I feel like we're actually living that meme right now. That's the world. Monkeypox is we did not learn our lesson with COVID. We did not. I don't want monkeypox either. That sounds terrible. Guys, please take care of yourselves. Take care of your mental health. Take care of your physical health. And don't let anyone tell you that you're overreacting. They did that to us years ago. Remember they told us? It'll be fine. What harm can come in 4 years? And we're seeing what harm can come. Millions dead. And our rights are gone. So a lot can happen in 4 years. So just remember, a lot can happen in the next 4 years. So get on the ground. If you feel like you need to get involved, there are plenty of grassroots things going on in your neck of the woods. I can guarantee you it's happening. I can guarantee you that they need you to. So not all is lost. There's always something we can do. It's not over. Fight's not over. We can keep going. And if you can't fight, that's fine. If you got to curl into a ball and a pillow fort, go ahead. I said it's okay. Okay? All right, I'm going to get out of here. I have to feed kittens again. So, I'm thinking of you guys. I'm there with you guys, and we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. I think it's going to take us a little while, but we're going to be okay. So, take care of yourselves. I will see you next week, okay? Goodbye.